you guys grow up?
I grew up in Miami, Florida, even though I was born in Texas, but I lived there till I went to college when I was 18.
I grew up in North Georgia. That's where I was born. And then later went to Stetson University in DeLand, Florida.
When you guys were growing up, did you think much about segregation? Did it ever come up at all or anything like that?
Mm. With me, I didn't think about it at all when I was a kid. By the time we got to be high school people, we certainly did think about it, although there was no integration whatsoever. And it was just talked about by the different people, news and so forth. But I didn't seriously consider it because it was so far away from what was happening to us.
And Dad?
I didn't know any people who had lived in an integrated society and had no experience with it at all.
But your dad was a preacher.
My dad was a Baptist minister who, interestingly enough, took a very firm stand against segregation and pro-integration.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in the late 40s.
Yeah, that was in the 40s, and it wasn't a popular time to think that.
Did you ever think much about what would happen if the schools were integrated while you were in school? Even as a passing thought?
Not while I was in school, but I think we realized that integration was coming to colleges, and when we were getting ready for college, my friends and I thought, shoot, that would be fine. Of course, it didn't happen when I was in college, but it would have been fine if it had.
Did you hear much about the Ku Klux Klan growing up? At all?
Everybody knew about the Ku Klux Klan, and nobody liked them. And they were thought they were awful people and hid behind those pointed hoods and were just awful. That's all. Just
Cowardly.
Mm.
My father was a Baptist minister, and he actually preached against the Klan.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't like the Klan?
Did not like the Klan. I never saw a Klansman, though. I never knew anybody who was a Klansman growing up. They were kind of a secret organization.
Do you remember when Brown versus Board of Education was passed? Do you remember, was that like a landmark thing, like in headlines, or did it just kind of slide under the radar?
It was a landmark thing even then. We didn't know if it was going to really make a difference or not, but it was there. Everybody knew it and were interested in it.
How close do you remember?
Oh, I remember it very well when it occurred, and we didn't know exactly how it'd be implemented, and I was afraid that it would be very difficult to implement it, but we knew about it very definitely from the second it was passed. Although, as you know, it wasn't implemented or enforced for years.
What was your reaction to what happened in Little Rock when they tried to integrate there?
No, it was just bad. It was just bad. We felt sorry that the people had that much trouble integrating. Thought some Southerners were sure bad sports and just not nice people, but we just figured that's the way it was.
Well, it felt like George Wallace was a racial bigot and the worst kind of individual for what he had done. Although later on he recanted and came to favor integration. That was a surprise, a big surprise.
Can you remember the last year you taught, and if you ever taught in an integrated classroom?
Yes, I sure can remember when I taught, but actually I didn't. I never taught in an integrated school, and all my children went to integrated schools, but between the time I taught and the time they went to school, it had changed.
It had changed.
In the South, because that's where we were.
That would have been early '59.
Oh, yes, sounds good.
Did you ever have any occasion to visit a black school during the segregation era? And if you did you have any impressions? Or did you know anyone that had done that or anything like that?
No, I certainly didn't. I don't even think I knew where the black schools were. And that was because we just kind of circulated in a white society and where the white people lived.
Oh, I had an opportunity to visit the black schools, and I was amazed at how poorly equipped a lot of the facility was.
It was that?
It was bad.
Was that in Georgia, honey?
Mm-hmm.
Were you still in school when it happened? Or were you?
I don't remember now. I
You
think
must
I
have
was
been
still
in
in
elementary
school.
school.
Yeah, it was when I was younger.
Mhm.
And so it was definitely not as good as your school.
No. Was not as well equipped or didn't have as good a functioning or anything. It wasn't equal.